Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. I welcome you all to today's daily quiz session. Also wishing every one of you a very happy Civil Services Day, that is the 21st of April. Before we begin with today's questions, there's a very important reminder for all of you. There are only 3 days to go for the Target Prelims 2023 initiative to come back on YouTube. As you know, we have lined up for you 22 live sessions from 7:30 till 9:30 p.m. every single day, starting from the 24th of April. The endeavor is to discuss the most important current affairs of the last 365 days on the basis of MCQs of different questions. So we'll be discussing MCQs based on the important topics that have been in the news. This is the schedule. Please set a reminder for this. The classes will be from 7:30 till 9:30 p.m. There are 22 sessions in all to cover your entire syllabus. Let's begin with the first question then. Consider the following statements with regards to EVMs and VVPATs. Number 1. When a voter presses a button in the EVM, paper slip is printed to the VVPAT. Second, the slip contains the poll symbol and the name of the voter. Third, the VVPAT machines can be accessed by polling officers only. How many of these given statements are incorrect? As all of you know, EVM, that is electronic voting machines, are used in the voting ballot. When the person presses the button of a certain candidate in the EVM, there is a slip that is printed through an attached machine called VVPAT, that is Voter Verifiable Paper Audit Trail. Now, this slip contains the poll symbol and the name of the candidate that you have voted for and not the name of the voter. This is for the voter to verify that if, for example, you press the button of a specific political party, the slip contains the same poll symbol or not. So the second statement is wrong. Third statement also is true. The VVPAT machine can only be accessed by polling officers. The correct answer here would be A. Only one statement here is wrong. The reason why we are discussing this question is Election Commission will replace circuit boards of over 2 lakh VVPATs. The Election Commission of India has said that this is a part of routine maintenance and there is nothing to worry about. The Election Commission had written to all the chief electoral officers of different states and UTs, apart from Andaman Nicobar, Daman and Diu and Lakshadweep, saying that the M3 version of the VVPATs are to be shifted to the manufacturers. The manufacturers of the VVPAT are Bharat Electronics Limited and Electronics Corporation of India for the replacement of the chips. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to the new Space Policy 2023 released by the Government of India very recently. Number 1. In space will be the interface between ISRO and non-governmental entities. Second, the operational part of ISRO's missions will be moved to the new Space India Limited (NSIL). Third, to encourage and nurture space research among young minds, ISRO launched its student outreach program called Samvad at its Bangalore facility. Which of these given statements is not correct with regards to the new space policy? All the given statements here are absolutely correct. The policy was recently introduced. As you know, in the past few months, or in fact in the past few years, there have been multiple startups working in the field of space sector. Many of them are building their own satellites and they are launched by ISRO. The interface between non-government entities and ISRO will be in space, while the operational part of ISRO will be taken care of by NSIL. The third statement is also absolutely correct. As you can see here, there is an article in the Indian Express newspaper about the new space policy. The document about the new space policy was released after the cabinet gave it the approval. The policy aims not just to create a space-based resource, also to promote research and development along the education sector in the space. Next, question number 3. Consider the following statements with regards to Buddhism. Number 1. After 59 consecutive days of meditation, Gautama attained Bodhi, that is enlightenment, under a peepal tree at Bodh Gaya, a village in Bihar. We are referring to Gautam Buddha here. Second, he died at the age of 80 in 483 BCE at a place called Kushinagar in UP. The event is called as Mahaparinirvan. Third, Buddha's teaching were oral and written. Which of these given statements are incorrect? So you have to choose the incorrect statement out of these. Let's look at the statements one by one. The first statement here is wrong because the meditation period was actually 49 days and not 59 days. The remaining part of the statement is true, but the number of days are wrong. Second statement is true. He died at the age of 80 at Kushinagar, and this is called as Mahaparinirban. Third statement also is false. Buddha's teaching were only oral and nothing was written at that point of time. They were just oral teachings, oral sermons given by Lord Buddha. That is why first and the third statements are wrong. You have to choose the incorrect statement, so the answer here becomes C. 1 and 3 are wrong, the second statement is correct. The reason why we're discussing this question is because the Prime Minister of India just inaugurated Global Buddhist Summit 2023 in New Delhi, where Prime Minister made a long speech about India and India's commitment to follow the values of Buddhism. The Prime Minister said that the world was going through a very, very challenging time with the ongoing Ukraine-Russia crisis, the economic crisis and climate change, and the teachings of Buddhism could give strength to the entire world. In fact, in 2019 in UN also, the Prime Minister had said that we are a country that has given the world Buddha and not Yudh. So the Prime Minister has mentioned the teachings and Lord Buddha multiple times in his speech recently. Next, question number 4. Which of the following statements is incorrect about India's population growth? Number 1. India's census figures show that its annual population growth was 2% in 1951, which decreased to 1.3% in 1961. Second, according to census 2011, the median age in India was 24.9. Third, the UN has projected that India's population will peak in 2053. Fourth, during 2001 to 2011, a steep decline was noted in the population growth of Jains, Buddhists, Sikhs and Christian. You have to choose which of these statements is incorrect. Thus, the answer here has to be A. As per our census figures, in 1951, India's population growth rate was actually 1.3%. That later on increased to 2% in 1961. So the numbers here are reversed. It's a difficult question to answer because it has a lot of data. But because census and census-related activities are a lot in the news, that is why this is relevant. The answer here has to be A. All the other 3 statements are absolutely correct. All this data has been given in this Indian Express article that talks about India's population growth rate that has been declining since 1990s. Please do understand, it's not that India's population is declining, India's population growth rate. So the pace at which the population is increasing, that pace is declining. But the population is still increasing, and as per the UN, it will increase till 2053. This is when India will hit its peak in population. Next is the previous year question from 2021. It's a question from history. With the decline of Guptas until the rise of Harshvardhan in the early 7th century, which of the following kingdoms were holding power in northern India? The Guptas of Magad, the Paramaras of Malwa, the Pushyabhutis of Thanesar, the Mokharis of Kannauj, Yadavas of Devgiri, or Maitrakas of Vallabhi. Now, it's a question that you can solve if you are able to eliminate a few options. You would be able to eliminate the fact that Yadavas of Devagiri came to power much later on. Similarly, the Paramaras in Malwa also came to power much later on. That was much later after the Harshvardhan era. The correct answer has to be B. 1, 3, 4 and 6 are correct, while the Paramaras in Malwa and the Yadavas in Devagiri came to power much later on. For example, the Paramaras of Malwas only came to power from 10th century onwards. In history, you do see a lot of chronology-based questions. So it is important for you to have a sense of which dynasty was contemporary of which dynasty came in first and which dynasty came in later on. So make sure that you remember these kind of facts in history with respect to certain dynasties specifically. Next is the fact of the day, and today we want to discuss about the first water body census that was released very recently by the Ministry of Jal Shakti. As the name suggests, this is India's first ever census of water bodies across the country. There are a number of very important highlights of this census. For example, West Bengal is the state with most water bodies in the country, followed by UP, then Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Assam, Jharkhand and Tamil Nadu. Amongst the states or UTs with the lowest number of water bodies, we have Sikkim, followed by Chandigarh, Delhi and Arunachal Pradesh. The survey also talks about those water bodies which have been encroached, meaning that those water bodies where some land has been built, some construction activities have happened. Amongst those, UP tops the list with over 15,000 water bodies that have been encroached. There are a lot of other details in this census. For example, as per the report, 59.5% of water bodies are ponds, followed by tanks, reservoirs, water conservation, etc. There is some other data also that you must remember. For example, West Bengal's South 24 Parganas has been ranked as a top district, having the highest number of water bodies across the entire country, that is over 3.5 lakh. So this is also a very, very important data point. As per this report, you can download it very easily from the Ministry of Jal Shakti website. As per the report, as you can see, the distribution of the types of water bodies across the entire country and also the usage of water bodies. Which water body has the most use across the entire country? As you can see, most water bodies are used for pisciculture, over 3/4 of it. Then comes domestic or drinking water usage, then comes irrigation, groundwater recharge, recreation, etc. This brings us to the end of today's daily quiz video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day ahead. Jai Hind.